Rachel, welcome to the show.
Justin, it's so good to be here. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm really excited to dive into this conversation with you. You and I spoke at the same event a number of years ago, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, her story's incredible. She's really built something really great for herself and her family. I would love to get her on the show. And I did what Justin does, which I said to you, I'm like, hey, would love to have you on the show. You're like, sure. And then I didn't follow up because that's who I am.
Well, I could have
And
followed up too.
that is true. That is true.
It is
But
not
now
all
here
on
we
you.
are years later at the perfect time. We're sitting down and finally having a conversation. So thank you again for being here. But what I want to start at is who is Rachel today? And then we're going to break down how you got there.
How fun. Today, I'm this girl who loves to geek out about algorithms and like build software and collect businesses and collect people. Um,
That sounds creepy. Hold
it
on.
does sound creepy. It does sound a little
We're-
creepy when you say it like that. But that's the actual truth, though, because every single business needs to have an audience. And some people have multiple businesses with the same audience. Like they might have like a creative arm and a this arm and da, da, da. Me, I love to actually like have a business bingo card and collect all the fun businesses that I think sound interesting. And like I almost want to try on a different hat every 2 years. Like some people like change personalities every couple of years. Some people change my son likes to change his job every 6 months. I feel like he's gonna eventually grow up and become every 2 years he changes his career field. I'm that person too. I'm that person who wants to constantly change. And so part of it is I have like this little bit of a business bingo. And instead of collecting all of the people in one niche, which is, the right thing to do,
Yeah.
that's not as exciting as different business in each niche. So yeah, I collect people into different niches so I can create a business that targets that audience. Yeah,
I
so
love
I'm
that.
a people collector and a business collector.
No, I love that. And I love how you worded that too, because you said, I like to collect people that are in an industry and then build a business to
Yeah,
serve those people. Is that really how that works? Like in your
yeah,
brain?
that's how I
Like,
do it.
yeah, talk us through that a little bit because I think a lot of people go, well, I have this business and then let me go find people. Like I love this concept.
Yeah, I like to find the audience and then think of a problem that they have. I don't think of the solution. I think of the problem that they have. And then I think of a way that I can put that problem in a positive, make them look good and feel good while they're dealing with that problem. If I can do those things, well, then I can find lots of different solutions for it. And I can now build a business based on that audience. So I collect a people group. And what I mean by people group, it could be like DIY home fixers. It could be people who like to camp in their RVs. It could be people who have long hair and are buying vacuum cleaners. I mean, like each one, I have a cat audience. I have a crock pot, like the crockpot meals and yada yada yada. I have a preschool kids. I have a marketers. I have small business owners. I have one for I've got one for a local business that like collects information from license plates. Long story. Anyways, I have lots of different little audiences that I collect. I collect the people, and then I say, okay, what can I do with this data set of contact information, demographic information I know, problems I know that they're having, and then what can I do with that to make a monetized revenue stream to match that audience? So I build a business based off of the people that I collect.
That is mind blowing to me because I realized, through my career when I started, I didn't know anything. Like I bought a $60 microphone, clicked record, and I'm like, let's just see where this goes. And so it talked a lot about my journey, and I realized my audience ended up, and it was my journey from my rock bottom moment. And so there's a lot of people just following along that were in the rock bottom moment. And years later, I was like, I don't know what to do now with them, right? I've kind of evolved and they weren't there. And so I got really intentional with my messaging and how I was approaching certain things. And then all of a sudden my audience started to shift, which is why I can now have a mastermind of 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs. Whereas I probably couldn't have done that 3 years ago, but I guess I almost subconsciously did that. Like I wasn't thinking, oh, I want to do this mastermind. I was thinking, I just want to serve a different audience. And then the business came from it. But you're so intentional about it. How long have you been doing this and where did this idea come from?
I grew up in an entrepreneur family, so I always knew you could make a business. And I saw my father make businesses out of like thin air. And so like I always had like a mindset. Do you know how like they talk about the mindset of abundance and the mindset of lack, like where you're struggling? I've always had a bit of a mindset of abundance, and you can always build a business out of anything. So like, what are we going to build a business on? But I also realized that I don't know what my customer actually wants and needs. And there's no way that you can know that unless you've got like this inner gut. And I'm not God. I'm not all knowing. So like, who am I to say I know what you need? It's like, I don't.
Yeah.
You know what you need. I don't know what you need unless you talk to me and you tell me, and then I can understand what you need. So I like to collect the people, and then I have some ideas of a problem they have, usually by interacting with them. But then I use data to find out what is it that they actually need, because what they're going to tell you that they need is very different from what they'll actually put money on. And I noticed this the first time with my DIY audience. I built this one like, maybe 7 years ago. And this audience was, they complained. They complained all day long that their biggest problem was not enough money. So their biggest problem was, I don't have enough money. I'm broke. So I was like, great. Credit repair. We can get you like side hustle gigs. We can get you like how to budget. No, you don't want any of that. No, you don't. You just want to complain about not having money. You actually really like spending money. Okay, so you don't actually want to solve the problem of no money. You just want a place to complain about money while you spend it and feel like you're okay, because everybody here struggles with money. So does that make sense? Like they didn't want, so they weren't voting with their dollars. They were just talking about the problem. So first I get an idea of what problems they have. I collected this DIY, let's fix up our homes. Well, I thought a fixer up audience is a cheap audience, but no. Oh, no, they are not. So I collected them. Then I have to say, okay, this is the problem I think you have. I'm going to create a test offer and see, do you bite? Okay, I'm going to create another test offer. Do you bite? Okay, so you don't want debt repair, even though you're all saying like 93% of you say money's the issue. Okay, so no debt repair. Okay, so it's not that bad of money issues. Maybe it's that they need budgeting help. Okay, nope, not budgeting. Okay, well, maybe it's that they want a side hustle. They want more money. Oh, no, it's not that either. I'm like, okay, so I made lots of different offers to find out what it is. Then I realized what they really like is like maybe decluttering their house, because they buy a lot of crap that they don't need. So they need help getting rid of their crap. Maybe they want like, so there's other things that I've found out that they wanted that then I could sell to them. So I found the problem. I collected the people, identified the problem, tested it, made solutions for them.
Yeah. So there might be some people listening who haven't started their entrepreneurial journey yet, and part of that reason is I don't know who to serve. How do you figure out like, who am I collecting next?
Ooh, I love that one. Okay. This one comes, I have like 3 rules for how I create an audience. Now, is this something that people see like the videos of me, or is this only audio?
They see videos. Yeah, they can watch as well.
Okay, they can watch. Awesome. Well, then I'm going to doodle this. Let me get a pen and paper.
So if you're listening somewhere, go to YouTube and watch it on YouTube if you want to see this part.
And it's okay. You can also listen in. You'll be fine without the doodle. But okay, so I like to think of 3 things for when I'm picking what my audience is. I like to say it has to have 1 million people. So I have to have 1 million human beings in this audience that I think I can reach with this content. That doesn't mean I'm going to reach all 1 million. It means there's a potential of 1 million people. And so like, Justin, you said you get like over 10,000, 25,000 podcast downloads per episode, right? Yeah. You don't need 1 million people to download every single episode for you to have a super successful, awesome business and a coaching program. Like, hot dang, that's awesome. You don't need 1 million people for that. You just need a slice of the pie. If there's 1 million people in the audience, though, it's really easy for you to get the slice of the pie, or relatively easy. So I want to be able to picture 1 million people. Then I want to be able, and there are some niches that don't have 1 million. You can still build a business from it, but it's not going to be as profitable of a business. Like, for example, one of my friends, or one of the students in one of my programs, her name's Edith, and she has a business that has people who embroider not tea towels or any type of things, only ribbon. Like that 1.5 inch stuff that like goes long and long and long. They embroider. Guess how many people in the world do that? I'm guessing it's not 1 million. So while she owns that niche, there is no one else that is the boss of that niche.
She's probably got like 10 years left before they're all passed away too. Like that. I feel like
It's a fun one.
That's
Okay.
terrible.
So
That's
1
terrible.
million people, then I want to have a picture where I can get $1 million. Because if I can't imagine a path to $1 million, then I can't make 100,000 easily. So I want to see, like, if it is it one of my audiences is a cat audience, and I thought they're going to buy cat food supplements. Well, cat food and cats and health supplements for humans is huge. It must be huge for cats too. So now I was like, okay, I have 1 million people in this audience. I can see a path to $1 million, cat supplements and cat food. Okay. That doesn't mean that I'm making $1 million selling cat food. And to be completely honest, I didn't sell any cat food to that audience because I did not realize cat audiences are very, very fussy about what their cats eat. And that was not working for me. But I'm not a cat person, but I still collected the cat people and I still tried to sell $1 million of stuff to them. But I want to make sure it has $1 million potential so I can get a piece of that pie. And the last one, so I've got $1 million, 1 million people, $1 million of a product I can make in. And then the last thing is 1 million, or, I'm not actually going to spend 1 million minutes, but like, could I spend 1 million minutes? So I've seen this happen time and time again where somebody creates their business. Like, one of my friends did this actually like 2-3 years ago. She did this. She created her business about soccer because her son was in soccer and it was really awesome that he was in soccer. He's like a freshman and he got on the varsity team right away. She was all excited. So she spent 1 year like collecting the audience. So now he's a sophomore. Then she spends 2 years building and creating this business about like soccer moms. And then her son drops out and she's no longer a soccer mom. And now she doesn't care about soccer anymore. And what does she do with this business she built? So for her, I was like, if you're going to build a business, if you're going to invest all that time, you want to invest your time in something that like you're going to enjoy doing like later. So that's where for your arrow to be super successful in picking your niche, I like to pick ones that I could spend 1 million minutes on, have 1 million people, imagine $1 million, and that's how I find my niche. And usually my niche is like a subset of the bigger category. So
right.
Yeah. Does that help, Justin?
Yeah, that was fantastic. Cause I think, obviously to get more clear, because sometimes like you want to serve somebody, but that might not be the perfect person. Like
it
the
might not be the
soccer
perfect
example
person, and you have to like talking about it. Because if you don't like talking about it, everyone will know. And if they know, it's going to come across inauthentic. Now, I did tell you that I have a cat audience, and I told you that I'm not a cat person. But what I do like is making fun of my neighbor's cat. So my neighbor's cat would pee on my lawn furniture, and he was very photogenic cat. I loved making fun of this cat. And so I made an audience making fun of my neighbor's cat and kind of like poking fun at cats in general. And then I fell in love with cat people. And I had a cat audience. Does that make sense? I could talk for a while about the things this cat would do, these antics, because the cat was pretty funny and very annoying. And I loved, anyways, what do you do when the neighbor's cat's peeing on your lawn furniture? Obviously, you start a fan page for it.
That's amazing.
That's what everyone does, right?
I just love it. And so the thing is, too, what people don't realize is you've built multiple successful businesses. You've helped other people do the same thing. And a lot of times people see somebody who's built success and they go, oh, well, they probably have an easy setup. It's probably easy for them. One thing I love is, and it's posted on your Facebook page, is that or on your website, is that you have 6 kids.
I do. Yeah.
6 kids. My first question to anybody who has 6 kids is why? That's a lot of kids.
It just kind of happened. Yeah, we wanted 3, and then we had 4, and then we went to adopt, and instead of adopting, actually we had 3, we went to adopt, and we adopted 2 children, and then we were pregnant. So that was a surprise. And
so here we are. So how do you, and by the way, people listening, we're going to get to the how behind how can you build that audience in a second. But I want to know, how do you manage your time with 6 kids, building multiple businesses, doing all this craziness? What do you do to manage your time?
Oh, you actually want to know? Okay, I do something. A lot of people don't do this because they think that time is limited. Does that make sense? And it is limited. But imagine how much time it takes you to clean your house on an average day. Right. Like when you clean your house, like on a Saturday, it might take you 4 hours, right? Like, come on. We have 8 people in my house, and it still takes us 4 hours when we decide we're going to do our big clean, right? Now, if a girl from church tells me that she's coming over to drop off something and she's going to come and hang out with her kid and play in the pool, oh, you better believe it. She gives me like 18 minutes notice, my house, in 18 minutes. I think we get more done in that 18 minutes than I do in that 4 hours that I spend that Saturday every 3 weeks, right? Okay. Yeah. In that 18 minutes, my house is like, boom, we got it done. Why? We compress time. So if you make your whole life, which means I kind of have like this frantic attitude, this frantic energy. So this fits for my personality too, but compress your time. Give yourself a deadline and then like honor yourself and stick to it. And what that means is you're going to constantly have, oh crap, in 18 minutes, I have this. Yeah. For example, like right before I was on with Justin, I was like, oh crap, I have 14 tickets. I have to QA and check. It's 11 minutes until I'm on with Justin. So I'm going to turn on my timer. I got 9 minutes. That way I make turn on time and I'm going to get as many of these tickets done before I hop on with him. Cause I hate doing tickets. So if I do tickets first thing in the morning, it's going to take me until Justin's appointment, right? No. I wait until it's 15 minutes before. And then I'm like, oh gosh darn it, let's get this done. And somehow I managed to compress time and get more done than average person. And so what I like to do is actually make my list in 2 different ways. So if you're watching right now, I'll actually just show you my to-do list. Let's see here. Here's one. Let's see if there's one. This is an easy one to see. So this is actually one of my to-do lists. I separate my to-do list into 2 columns. One column is my 5-minute, 15. There's things that can take less than 15 minutes. So I could basically compress time and say, okay, I'm going to get this done before my call with Justin or before my meeting with so-and-so. I'm going to have these compressed time moments. And I stack as many of those lists as I can. And then in my other one, I have things that will take more than 15 minutes, but less than an hour. Okay. And so that's where I have my longer tasks and I'll have like a power hour. And often I actually bring somebody else on with me. So I don't know if anybody else is one of these people who's like, oh, I gotta go do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I think I'm gonna go get a coffee or I'm gonna go take a poo. I'm gonna go do like anything other than this. I'm gonna go say hi to the dogs. The dog's crying. I should probably go check on the dog. I never go check on the dog unless it's not. Okay?
Even just scrolling on social media.
I know. Exactly. I'm going to find something to do other than those tasks that take an hour. If it takes more than an hour, yeah, that doesn't go on my list. That I break up into smaller tasks because I know my ADD brain is not going to sit in this chair for more than 45 minutes at a time. So I have to break it into smaller tasks. And then that's how I make my list. So it's 15 minutes or less, then I can compress it. And if it's more than 15 minutes, then it goes into my longer task list. And I try to only have like 3 or 4 of those. And you can see like this one, it's a 5-part one. So it's pillar. I have to write pillar boast and it's 5 parts. So that way I can do my 3-hour task in 5 smaller sections.
I love it. And it's setting up your day for how your brain works, right? Like yes. I say to people all the time, as a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I talked to a group of college kids that are entrepreneurial majors. And I said so many great things. Like I sound like Donald Trump. So many great things. It was wonderful. But the one thing that stuck with them is that I said I work 3 to 4 hours a day at most, and they're just like, "How is that possible?" Right? They're being taught 8 to 5 or even more. As entrepreneurs, we burn the candle at both ends all the time. But essentially what I do is I create a to-do list for the next day. When that to-do list is done, I'm done. Yeah. And I've also found ways to obviously outsource and hire people and work that way. Like in 2022, I built a business that is about 3 minutes a day of work for me with a 60% profit margin. And it just works, right? So like I literally structured it that way because I'm like, I don't want to work the rest of my life. Like I want to be able to get stuff done as quickly as possible and move on and then enjoy my life. So I love that your brain works in a way of like, no, I'm just going to get it done instead of allowing myself to be distracted for 4 hours.
Or allowing yourself to have a big gap of time. Because if you have a big gap of time, you're going to fill that big gap of time. It'll 100%. Take as long as you need it to.
I love it. I love it. So obviously, as we get distracted about schedules and how do you get stuff done with 6 kids, the real thing is, right, as we talk about building an audience and then finding out how to serve them, how do you begin to build and collect that audience? Because I think a lot of people get stuck. They go, yeah, I have social media, but I'm not collecting anything. Like, how do I do that? What is your go-to methods in order to really start to build that audience?
I like to post content that identifies who they are and then use my content to attract them. So I'll make a page, and I actually have a bunch of pages that are like half made, and I just post random like memes on them that are generally on the same thread. Okay, so I love to collect an audience that all likes to talk about the same topic, and I help identify them using memes. And so memes are things that say, I am a this. And when they like the post, when they comment, now I have an audience that I can re-engage with on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Pinterest. I can retarget them with my next post. If they've re-engaged multiple times, then I can have my page is sometimes they have this feature and sometimes they don't, where you're able to automatically invite everyone who engaged on your page to follow your page. When that feature is turned on, it's like gold rush time. Now I get to juice those posts that have already done well, and I get to bring everybody that engages into my audience. So I did that actually most recently with my business PageWheel, and I've created an audience that was looking for business hacks, and I posted business hack stuff, just retargeted it. And I didn't even know what I was going to do with that audience. I just kind of had it on autopilot. I started it like 2 years ago, had it on autopilot, let it kind of die a little bit because I didn't know what I was building. And then when we built PageWheel, I was like, oh my word, I have this audience. Okay, I'm going to go turn that audience on now and change the name to PageWheel. And now, okay, guys, here's your business hack and here's the software that'll do it. But I had that audience already created just based off of engagement on memes that I invited to likes on pages that on content I'd put out ages ago.
Yeah. And so how large is that audience, obviously being on autopilot and then even letting it die down? How quickly did it grow?
We got it to 1700, or I got it to 1700 with the memes ages ago. And then it died while I was doing other things. And then when I revived that, it's now at 1900. And I revived it maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So let's talk
a
little
organic.
bit about,
there's no ads on it.
Let's talk a little bit about Flywheel, because obviously people who are looking for business hacks, that's my audience. These are entrepreneurs looking to streamline things, make things easier, all the stuff in between. Talk a little bit about Flywheel and where this idea came from.
The Flywheel concept is actually what we do for our patent. So we created, how many of you guys have gone on ChatGPT and you type in like, oh, I'm going to make a sales page. So let's have ChatGPT write my sales page for me. And ChatGPT writes it, and then you have to like ask it to rewrite it. And then you have to ask it to then you copy and paste it in to your own like sales page system. How long did that take you?
Yeah, forever.
It took you at least an hour to write the prompts, to tweak the prompts, to get the prompts to deliver, and then to copy and paste every single thing into your sales page system. Now your sales page is still ugly as all heck, right? So I created a AI system that's a flywheel that basically says, okay, one set of prompts runs, and at the same time that set of prompts starts running, it starts running a design prompt. And the design prompt basically does the formatting. And then on top of that, it has templates that the content will go into. Then you add okay, I'm going to change it this way and this way. I'm going to make this change to it. I want to have more of a hero. I want to have an about me section. I want to have this. Okay, so now one spin, like you just type in, I'm a yoga studio. You put in one prompt, but it's just not really a prompt. It's more like, I am a what? What are you doing as a business owner? You type that in, and then the whole engine starts running for you using AI, and it automatically drops it into, here's your PDF, here's your sales page, here's your emails, here's your ads, here's your social media to promote it. And you didn't have to do it all because AI does that spin for you. It creates the spins. It does the flywheel. Wow. That's my patent. And literally, if you go, it's not approved yet. So, but if you go in like a year or so and you see a flywheel approved, you'll know who Eric came from.
I love it. And it's such a great concept. And I think, in the world of AI, there's two types of people. There's one person who goes, I'm not doing it. It's not authentic. It's not me. It's not these things. And then there's other people who are adopting and going, I'm going to utilize this as a tool. And I found the first type of person, they're afraid it's going to take away their job. They're afraid it's going to take away their income. I love that you've embraced it. What made you lean into AI? Like, I don't want to say we're early anymore because of how quickly it's advancing, but think about it's only been like 2 years.
I don't think there's anybody who's doing AI with automation like this. I don't know anyone who can say, I'm a yoga studio and instantly create the entire website. Now think of the average yoga studio person. Yes, they have their own personality that they want to put into their page, right? But the reality is all yoga studios, they tend to be like muted colors. They tend to have the same type of language in them. They have the same type of features on their websites. So do you really have to remake the wheel, or should you just adapt the wheel and add your humanity, your own zing to it? But like using what's best practices. Like, for example, there's just not a yoga studio that has neon orange and neon pink. It's just not existent in a yoga studio. So you're not going to see that. You're not going to see like, hurrah, let's all be men and wrestle on the mats together. That language is not going to be in a yoga studio. So you know what language, you don't have to tell AI that. AI already knows that. Like AI is going to work in your best interest. And then you get to come in and say, okay, AI did 80% of it. Now I'm going to add my 20% pizzazz. The reason why I needed this was because I told you guys I'm a people collector. I'm a business collector. So I actually have businesses in like 7 different niches, not including my business partner who has an additional like 3 or 4 businesses in completely different niches, like makeup. Like who wants a business in makeup? Like, okay, I get it. It's profitable, but like for me, okay, my point is we have a, like between us, I think we have 7 or 8, 9 different niches between us. So now we were seeing in Google, most of our traffic, our money at the time was coming through ad spend. So people would put ads on our website. It was coming through affiliate stuff. And then we would have some products, but we didn't have very many products. We had maybe like 4 or 5 or something like that. Our core things, we had a couple core ones. But now ad spend's going down. Amazon affiliates are going down. All affiliates were going down. The death of the third-party cookie. Well, now affiliate links aren't even working a quarter of the time, a third of the time. Oh my word, a half of the time. So I was seeing kind of this downward trend and realizing it's going to actually just fall off the cliff soon. Now we still get traffic. I'm just not making money off of this traffic. So what can I do is make more products. And I was like, okay, no worries. I know how to make products. I've made hundreds of products. I've made millions from my products in the past. So like, I got this. And then we started working on it. And then it was like, okay, I'll make a template. So I made a template, and then I had team members who would like fill out the template, but I'd still have to go in and tweak it. And then I'd be like, okay, now we have to make graphics. So I have to hire another person, follow up with them on graphics. So now I'm spending like, I got a funnel from start to finish to be done in about 6 to 8 hours. And that's, everyone said like, that's great. And I'm sitting there thinking, but you guys don't understand. I have 47 products to make. I can't work more than 6 hours a day. So that's 47 days that I have to devote to this business. Like this is my side business. And yeah, my side business is important because I'm getting a lot of money from it, but, and the money's going down, but it's not like my passion business. It's not what I want to be doing for 47 days straight. 47 days, that's 2 months worth of business work. Like, does that make sense? Because you have Saturdays off and stuff. Like, this isn't going to work. Like, no. And that's when I was like, I need this for me. So we built it first for myself and my business partners' businesses, so we could create tons of different funnels at one time. And then once we made it for us, we're like, oh, wait, we could probably give it to everybody. And that's when we took on people. We had brought on about, I guess we're 850 people who are now building their products without having to work on it. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's an absolute gift to people, you know, giving them this opportunity to take a breath and go, okay, I don't have to, you know, again, I use this term already, but burn the candle at both ends just to make ends meet, just to make sure my business stays afloat. Such an amazing and powerful tool. But I want to ask you something that I ask everybody on this show. It's a 2-part question. So the first part is, what is your definition of success? The second part is, what are 3 things you do every single day to ensure that success for yourself?
What is my definition of success? And it's having the freedom to do the things I want. And if that means I want to geek out and work 14 hours a day on this passion project, then by golly, get out of my way. I want to do that. If I want to watch Netflix and play on Canva and make graphics, even if it's the lowest paid position in my team, I don't care. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want to have the freedom to like explore those interests when I have them, those buzz things. You guys know when you get in that flow state and it's all exciting because you're having progress and you can't wait to go deeper in that topic. I want to have more of that in my life. So for me, success means having the freedom to do that. So the things that I don't want to do, if it's dishes, or I've got kids for that. I've got They're teenagers. They need chores.
Yes, they do.
If it's like house stuff or if it's in my business, if there's things that I don't want to do, I want to be able to have the freedom to have less of that in my life. So like you said, you work 4 or 5 hours a day. I would like to work just 4 hours a day on those things I don't want to do so I can do those fun things, usually for work because that's my hobby,
Sure.
usually for work that I want to invest in. So
No, I
that's
love it.
success for me.
Yeah. And what are the 3 things you do every day to ensure that success?
Well, I would like to say I eat well and sleep well and but that's not even remotely true, and move. But yeah, those would be things I would tell people to do. So exercise, eat well, sleep well, move well. But yeah, no, I'm not doing any of that, not regularly anyways. I don't think I have any actual habits that I do consistently besides my journal books. So I have hundreds of like maybe 4 dozen of these. You can see there's a bunch right up here, and I have a whole. Oh, wait, my feet it just disappeared.
Nope.
Okay, here we go. Now you can see. Give me a second here. Okay, so I have a ton right up here, and a ton more somewhere right up there. There's a bunch. Yeah, I have a ton of these books, and so I literally each book contains everything that I'm doing. So I don't have to constantly think what is going on in my brain. I don't have to remember what that grocery list is. I don't have to remember the conversation I had. I just take a note in the book, and then I get to remember where the books are. And then I change from one book to the next. So my last book is orange, so this one will be blue. And then the next book after that will be a different color. So I can remember, oh yeah, it was like 2024, and I think it was the orange book time. So it was when I was carrying around the orange book, and I'd go everywhere with this thing. And I have a different sticker on them if I have a different color. So there's already an orange book that's just plain orange. Great. Well, this one now has a heart.
That's amazing. I love that. And so, fun fact: the only other person on the show in 520 episodes that said they don't do anything consistently was comedian Bert Kreischer. And so if you're not familiar with him, you should look him up. So he is the only person who said that. And then he goes, well, you know what? I do have this book that I write jokes in.
Carries around with him all the time.
Yeah. And he goes, I probably do that every day. So like that is hilarious. I carry
the book around. It's every day. This is probably the only habit that I've had for any length of time. And I've literally probably had the same habit since college of writing every thought I have in my books.
I love it. Smart. It's super smart. So I wrap up every single interview with the same question, but before we get there, let's get to the important stuff. How do people jump into the flywheel? How do people find you on the internet? What's all that stuff?
Okay. PageWheel.com. My goal is to help people instead of spending $2,000 or $1,000 to learn how to market, to give you the stuff done for you for $27. No upsells, just $27. Yeah, that's our plan. And we're on a mission to make creating a business simple and affordable for everyone, to make it basically even the playing field for people who are starting out. Because a lot of times you think you have to have all these big resources, and you don't. You shouldn't have to. So yeah, that's pagewheel.com, and it's $27. And we're not planning on raising the prices, at least anytime in the near future. And we'll love to have you come join us.
Oh, I'm joining. Like, I just can't wait to get in there and play around with it and see what I can create. Like, I think it's such an amazing tool. And because that's the thing, I think when I think of a new idea, do I want to do this? Though what that overcomes for me, like that's the thing that stops me from doing it. You
can test it in 30 minutes, 15 minutes. You can have it ready to look. Let's say, Justin, you have a podcast episode and you're like, oh my word, it'd be great if I could have a handout that if people wanted more, they could sign up to my list to get this handout after the podcast episode. You could literally get off the podcast episode and have it done before your coffee's done brewing.
That's incredible. Yeah. And so fun fact about me, in 2023, I actually removed all of my websites from the internet. So I still have all the URLs, but I was like, you know what? I don't know how important all these technical things are. Let me just find out.
That's true. The technical is
and 2023 was my best year in business yet.
Oh yeah.
And so with that being said, I go, okay, now I actually need to have a page. Like I need to have something. And I just didn't want to, I'm going to try and build my page through this incredible discovery that you've put out into the world. And I'll let you know how it goes. So that's my commitment from this interview. I think it'll be a blast. So like I said, I wrap up every single interview with the same question. This show is called the Growth Now Movement. And that question is, in your life, what has been your biggest moment of growth?
Oh, easy failure. Easy. Like anytime I failed or like colossally failed. Like, I don't know if there's the word for failure. That's like the one where you like belly flop onto the onto the pavement, not even you didn't even make it in the pool. Yeah, I've learned more from those, and so my goal in life is to belly flop as fast as I can, because the faster I can belly flop, the faster I learn the right way to do something. So not just fail, but to get up from the failure and to learn from that failure. So to get up and fail again, and sometimes that means you might fail 6, 7, 8 times in a row. So that's, I think, where most of my learning, I learned far more from my failures than I have from any of my successes. And I've failed probably more than anyone else that I know. And I'm not joking on that. I literally have failed colossally, and more than most people would ever probably admit to, but I'm proud of each of my failures. They made me who I am. So yeah.
I love it. Rachel, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom with my audience. And this has been phenomenal. I look forward to seeing where our friendship goes from here.
Thank you, Justin. You have a great day.